Are you, sitting here in front of your screen, also overwhelmed by the bustling hustle and bustle of New York, the city that never sleeps? The lights of Times Square, the grandeur of the Empire State Building, the wealth of Wall Street. Think you know everything about this city? But its true history is far stranger and more bizarre than you might imagine. What if I told you that 20,000 bodies lie buried beneath the lawns of Washington Square Park? What if I told you that the New York City subway harbors over 15,000 unknown species of life? What if I told you that the smallest piece of private land in New York is only 63 centimeters? All of this isn't just urban legend, but the truth about New York City, lost in time. Today, let's delve into some of the most fascinating New York trivia you've never heard of and uncover the city's most bizarre secrets. Did you know that the last remaining tooth of George Washington, the father of the United States, is not in a museum, but on display in a New York City tavern? Even more remarkable, it was here that he delivered his famous farewell address, laying the foundation for the presidential term system. This tooth bears witness to a pivotal moment in American history. Beneath the walls of Queens, New York, lies a forgotten subway station. It's never appeared on any maps, yet it truly exists, the mysterious 76th Street subway station. Legend has it that it opened in 1948, but only lasted a month before closing permanently. Today, its remains lie buried, empty and deserted. Throughout American history, there's a crime that remains unsolved. On September 16, 1920, a horse-drawn carriage loaded with explosives exploded in front of 23 Wall Street in New York City. The explosion, considered the first domestic terrorist attack in American history, killed 30 people instantly, injured approximately 300, and left the scene devastated. Despite a massive police investigation, the perpetrators of this tragedy remain a shocking mystery. On April 18, 1955, Albert Einstein passed away peacefully at Princeton Hospital. However, shortly after his death, Thomas Harvey, a pathologist at the hospital, made a decision that shocked the world. Without the permission of Einstein's family, he illegally dissected his body and secretly removed his brain and eyes. Harvey believed that Einstein's brain could be used to study the secrets of genius. As for his eyes, they were given to Einstein's personal ophthalmologist, Henry Abrams. Today, these eyes, which once gazed upon the mysteries of the universe, are carefully preserved in a safe in New York City, an unsolved mystery. New York City experienced a dark period in its history regarding tattoos. From 1961 to 1997, a period spanning 36 years, tattooing was completely banned. The true reason for this ban remains a mystery. Some say it was an effort to control the then-spreading hepatitis B epidemic, others say it stemmed from a dramatic love triangle, with the mayor, driven by personal vendettas, taking his anger out on tattoo artists. Despite this, those who love tattoos have not given up. In New York's underground, countless artists secretly operate their own tattoo parlors, keeping this ancient art alive. There's a creature on Earth that's far more aggressive than a shark, and you're 25 times more likely to be bitten by one. What creature is it? The answer might surprise you, New Yorkers. That's right, according to statistics, you're 25 times more likely to be bitten by a New Yorker than by a shark. In the 1930s, Doyle Street in Manhattan, New York City, was the most dangerous area in all of Chinatown. It was not only a gathering place for Chinese immigrants but also the sphere of influence for major Chinese gangs. Bloody battles erupted here for territory and profits, earning the street the nickname, Bloody Corner. Here, there was no law, no justice, only the survival of the fittest. Those seemingly insignificant buildings were once hideouts for gang members, those dimly lit street corners were battlefields for their clashes. This history is far more real and brutal than any gangster movie. In New York's financial district, there's a restaurant that has witnessed the city's transformation over the past century. Delmonico's, opened in 1837, is considered New York City's first fine dining restaurant. Still operating at its original location, the restaurant's story lies not only in its history but also in its contributions to the global culinary landscape. It claims to be the birthplace of several classic dishes, including the well-known Eggs Benedict and the Lobster Newburg. Here, you'll savor not only delicious food but also a century of history. Throughout American history, the nation's capital has shifted several times. In the early years of the nation's founding, the original capital was neither Washington nor Philadelphia, but New York City. In 1785, New York City was chosen as the nation's first capital, and Federal Hall, located at 26 Wall Street, became the nation's first Capitol building. It witnessed the inauguration of George Washington, the first President of the United States. It is not only a witness to history but also the starting point for the United States' rise from a fledgling nation to prosperity and strength. Before the mid-20th century, New York City had a peculiar tradition. There was only one day a year for people to move. That day was May 1st. Walking through the streets of New York on that day, you'd see the entire city come to life, with people thronging the streets, moving furniture and luggage. This peculiar tradition dates back to the days when the Dutch first colonized Manhattan. However, with the introduction of rent control laws, people no longer had to rush around looking for cheaper housing, and this unique, moving day gradually faded into history. New York City's subway system not only carries millions of commuters but also holds a secret you might never imagine. Scientists have conducted an in-depth study of the New York City subway and discovered that this vast underground network is home to over 15,152 different life forms. From bacteria to insects, this astonishing number makes us reconsider the environment we live in. It's far more complex and vibrant than we imagined. On New York City's busiest street, there's a landmark you might never have noticed. It's a tiny triangular tile bearing the inscription, Hess Property. Behind this tile lies a unique story about individual rights and urban planning. In the 1920s, the New York City government demolished several apartment buildings to widen the street. However, they overlooked a tiny triangular plot of land owned by homeowner David Hess. Hess refused to give the land to the government free of charge, making it the only holdout in New York City not part of the public domain. Eventually, Hess sold the land to the nearby Village Cigar Company for $1,000. In New York City, there's a beloved landmark, Washington Square Park. But you might not know it, but this seemingly peaceful place hides a huge secret. Back in 1797, when this area was still just farmland, a devastating yellow fever epidemic swept New York. To contain the outbreak, city officials hastily buried approximately 20,000 bodies here. Today, beneath the lawn where you stand, countless unnamed souls may rest. Rand Books, an iconic New York City bookstore, has miraculously survived twice. Do you know the legendary story behind it? The land on which the bookstore was built once belonged to Peter Stuyvesant, the last Dutch governor of New York. During the Great Depression, Rand Books was on the brink of collapse. However, a miracle occurred. Their landlord, a descendant of Stuyvesant, made an unexpected decision. He allowed the bookstore to use the land rent-free for 2 years. This act of kindness allowed the bookstore to survive the difficult times and continue to operate to this day. Just how vast is New York City? Let us use a statistic to illustrate. According to statistics, 1 in every 38 Americans lives in New York City. This astonishing figure also highlights the city's unique charm and immense appeal. It is not only America's financial center, but also the place where the dreams of countless people begin. Can you picnic, or even hold a wedding, on a cemetery lawn? In New York City, there's one place where you can, the Marble Cemetery. Originally established as a burial ground for yellow fever victims, the deceased were buried 10 feet underground in marble vaults to prevent the spread of the disease. No headstones were placed above ground, leaving the lawn free for recreational activities. This cemetery stands as a testament to New Yorkers' ability to balance grief and hope. There's a long-standing urban legend in New York City: alligators live in the sewers. While this story may sound incredible, you might not know it has some basis in fact. From 1935 to as recently as 2010, alligators were indeed spotted in New York City's sewers on several occasions. However, experts believe these sightings were sporadic and unlikely to be permanent habitats. In 1626, a seemingly insignificant transaction occurred, yet it forever changed the fate of North America. Dutch colonists purchased Manhattan Island from the Indians for $24 worth of goods. This price, in today's eyes, would seem outrageous. Many people don't know that behind the bustling New York City lies a small island shrouded in tragedy, North Brother Island. Until the 1950s, it was used as a quarantine area for patients suffering from infectious diseases. The island's most famous inmate was Marin, known as Typhoid Mary. As an asymptomatic typhoid carrier, she unknowingly infected many others. To prevent the spread of the disease, she was forcibly imprisoned on the island until her death. Her story is a controversial case in public health history, and it has forever etched a tragic legacy on this small island. In 1979, a woman named Elvita Adams attempted to take her own life from the 86th floor observation deck of the Empire State Building in New York City. Just as she was about to leap, a miracle occurred. A sudden strong wind blew her back to the 85th floor window. She was eventually rescued by a security guard, and this story, which could have been tragic, had a hopeful ending. Many people are familiar with One Times Square in New York City, the epicenter of the New Year's Eve countdown and the focal point of countless billboards. But what you might not know is that the interior of this world-famous building is practically empty. Originally built as the headquarters of the New York Times, the building now houses only the top 3 floors, occupied by a Walgreens pharmacy. The remaining floors lie vacant. This building, a witness to countless moments of prosperity, harbors a desolate interior. Did you know? There's a sound in New York City's Times Square that you've probably never noticed. A faint, persistent hum can be heard on the subway grate between 45th and 46th Streets. This sound isn't the roar of the subway, nor the clamor of the city itself. It's a sound art installation created by the late artist Max Neuhaus in 1977. This hidden piece of art adds a unique sense of tranquility to the bustling city. In New York City, there's a clock you've probably never noticed. It's not mounted on a wall or housed in a tower, but embedded directly in the sidewalk. Since 1899, it has stood quietly at the corner of Maiden Lane and Broadway, still accurately telling the time for over a century. This unique clock was originally installed by jeweler William Bassman, who believed its unique design would attract more customers to his shop. This clever and ingenious business idea has become a unique feature of New York City streets. In New York City's financial district, a corner you might never have noticed hides centuries of history. In 1975, an archaeological excavation uncovered a well-preserved ancient ruin buried underground. To bring history back to life, the city government installed a glass door above the ruins. Now, when you pass by, you can peer through the glass and glimpse into New York a century ago. This unique window into time makes history truly tangible. An interesting urban legend circulates around New York's Grand Central Terminal. The tip of the Redstone rocket, which launched the first American into space in 1957, was on display there when it accidentally poked a hole in the station's ceiling. However, this story is not entirely true. The hole does exist, but it wasn't caused by the tip of the rocket. It was simply a stabilizing wire that held the massive rocket in place. This intriguing legend has left a mysterious mark on Grand Central Terminal's ceiling. In New York City, a controversial artist has created a beloved public artwork. He is Tom Otterness, the artist behind the Life Underground statues. However, behind these endearing statues lies a dark story. In 1977, while working on a film project, Tom Otterness personally shot and killed a dog. His actions sparked widespread controversy and cast a shadow over his artistic career. This incident has re-examined the boundaries between art and morality, and the personal responsibility of artists. In New York City, there's an old bar called McSorley's. Hundreds of dusty wishbones hang from its ceiling. Behind these wishbones lies a tragic story of war and life. In 1917, a group of soldiers about to depart for World War I left their wishbones there, promising to retrieve them upon their safe return. However, many never returned. Those left behind, hanging silently above the bar, bear witness to the loss of life and become a poignant reminder of war.